What's up, beautiful people, and welcome to a new video. This is one of those days, again, where everyone in the crypto community is either depressed or running through the hills, or you have the minority that are holding strong and buying through the storm. Now, just by looking at the charts, we can clearly see for the past 7 days that the main boys right here, Bitcoin and Ethereum, have dipped more than 30%. This is insane. And this is happening because of several factors, of course. I mean, if you're not caught up, we have the war happening between Russia and Ukraine. We have the Fed reversing course after printing all this money after COVID was a hit for the past 2 years almost, raising their interest rates. And today, actually, while recording this video that's gonna drop, I think either tomorrow or in 2 days, we're gonna have a Fed meeting where the market has priced in a 75 basis point increase, and I think this has already been priced in the market, like I said. So yeah, that's about 0.75%. Now, of course, if that figure were to be higher, so if we get a 1% increase, the market is gonna, well, to put it mildly, it's gonna tumble down in a very, very ugly way. But I don't see this happening. Remains to be seen. Hopefully by the time I post this video, everyone will be a bit happier. But let's see what's gonna unfold. But this is not what we're talking about today. We're gonna shift our focus to this beast right here, because this asset, surprisingly and not surprisingly, has been performing pretty good for the past week comparatively to the market. Because every time you have to value something, you have to do a relative valuation. You cannot do an absolute valuation, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. So this one you don't want to miss. Let's go. Alright, so let's get into this. For the past 7 days, based on the charts, and if I go right now, we can clearly see that drip, this is the 7-day chart. Drip has been hovering between $9 and $12. Now, this is pretty impressive. One, because the protocol itself still pays 1% a day. Right, we spoke about this many times before. And two, drip is not considered a stablecoin, long from that. And three, our precious high liquidity for everything that's coming up that's gonna affect how price action will be derailed and how price action will be unfolded in the few weeks that are coming in. Yeah, this is funny. I think that was the date where drip was really suffering versus the full scope of the market. But I usually don't pay attention to these, they're nonsense. But what we're interested in is to check the BTC versus drip chart. Let's remove the USD one. And oof, my oh my. For a protocol that pays 1% to outperform BTC for the past 7 days, this is impressive, to put it mildly. Now take this with a grain of salt, but in my opinion, this shows us that not only whales and dolphins inside the network are bullish, but everyone is compounding their asses off, because everyone can see where we're going eventually. Now, this is one of those nice tools where you can see daily metrics, also spread out over the course of a few days, a few months. And clearly, people are starting to understand that this is something that they want to put their money in to hedge their position during this crypto bear market. Yeah, hydrates are all over the place. Now, truth be told, the deposits versus claims, deposits have been underperforming, not because the selling pressure is too high, but demand was slightly low for the past few weeks. People could argue that it has been happening for the past few months. You can clearly see the curve. The claiming curve has been on a slow increase, followed up by the deposit curve, who's also been on a slow increase, actually meeting up with the claiming curve today. And we clearly saw a small spike today when I think when I woke up in the EU, the price was $9.3 and now it's hovering about the $10 mark. But in general, it's been hovering around the $10 mark for quite some time now. And that's pretty bullish considering it's still paying you 1% a day. Just keep that in mind, never forget that. Now the second point I want to mention as to why something like drip can flourish during a bear market is whatever is happening right now with Celsius. Now, for people who are not familiar with Celsius, it's basically a centralized entity. You can compare it to a bank even though they say they're not. However, you lend your coins and tokens to this entity, and then they use this liquidity to invest elsewhere and give you yield in return. They give about 19 to 20% on average on all assets. Of course, stable coins get less. I think about 10% on average, 9 to 10%. And other more risk-on assets get more, maybe up to 40%. So this is what Celsius is. So it takes your funds, also they stake those funds somewhere else, mainly on Lido Finance, which is the main liquidity pool for the staked ETH that is over there right now. Because if you're not familiar, transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake, Ethereum has been allowing people to stake their ETH even though they cannot withdraw them. But with Lido, they get an obligation. It's like a receipt actually, called sETH, staked ETH, which they can use on platforms like Aave. Long story short, Celsius is heavily invested over there and getting that 5% APY, amongst other platforms, of course. Now, when everyone started running through the hills because of how the market is performing, the obligations were starting to pile up and people wanted their money out as soon as possible. And this is something that is very common actually. In the banking industry, how much liquidity does a bank hold on average? Not more than 10%. So if everyone want to withdraw their money at once, the bank will not be able to do that, will not be able to give more than 10% to the people. So that's quite normal and has been happening since the inception of the banking system. So this happening within the crypto space wouldn't be a novelty just because it's crypto and everyone gets scared. That's the gullible mindset of the average investor. Now, they were trying to meet their obligations, however, at some point they couldn't fulfill all of them, and hence why they have to freeze the withdrawals and transfers in order to try and free up some funds to be able to pay those obligations. Now what's gonna happen eventually? Are they gonna get bought up by another entity like Nexo, or are they gonna take a loan? Are they gonna be able to sell out enough liquidity to be able to meet up these obligations? Time will tell, but I think they will prevail eventually. I don't think they will fall. But people have to understand that this is not the end of the world. However, this is something that could put us in a situation where evidently, in the purpose of full decentralization, we should not, go on with a higher risk and put a lot of money in decentralized entities, because evidently someone is controlling your money, right? Whereas if you put your money in something like Drip, no one is controlling your money. Now, of course, the things between something like Drip and something like Celsius, so whatever the processes and the mechanics are, they differ in a way. But the main thing to take away here is that You can do whatever you want on drip. No one will freeze your assets. No one will freeze your faucet. You can claim, you can hydrate, you can compound, you can deposit, you can do whatever the hell you want, as long as drip is relevant and its price is relevant, because the price dictates your action. If the price is high, you're most probably gonna take profits. If the price is low, you're most probably gonna increase your position. So it's you who's in control, you and the community, of course, are in control of this whole ecosystem, and no one can or will touch your money. Now, the value of that money will fluctuate, of course, based on whatever is happening, but it's there. It's not going to be taken away. So keep that in mind. Now, of course, you have to study the mechanics to make a financial decision if you plan to invest or you plan to sell, if you plan to hydrate, etc. But this is the main takeaway, is that no one will be able to take a hold of your assets, because you're free to do whatever the hell you want once you're in. Even though, and plus, let's not forget that you're getting paid more in drip eventually. So if we keep building utility where you can use drip and the drip liquidity pool tokens somewhere else, burn some of the supply, add to the tax vault, relieve the sell pressure, so on and so forth. All of this will benefit the price action, we'll get new players, and we will keep growing. This is pretty important. So just keep that in mind every time you want to put your money somewhere. Would you rather have your money free to do what you want, or would you rather have your money tied up somewhere with the risk of being taken away? They have a bankruptcy clause whereas if they go bankrupt, you won't be able to get a hold of your funds anymore. Here, you're not gonna see that, ever. So all of these things put together, the crypto bear markets, the situation we're in, the centralized entities having to put a halt on withdrawals and all of that, makes me and others realize that something like drip is very important during a bear market. You should put your funds somewhere relatively safe, and you as a person are in control of it, and knowing whatever is happening, and of course doing your own research in the process, is very important. So yeah, keep that in mind, because eventually what will dictate your situation at the end of the bear market is your decisions today. So that's why I'm personally super bullish on drip, and that's why I'm gonna keep on going. And I just want to add one more thing, is that if you're new, if you have no idea what drip is, or if you're someone who would like to, for example, get a better team ahead, now I'm gonna leave all my videos in the description below, because I made about 3 to 4 videos already, so you can watch these if you want to get some basics. But if you want to join a really cool team that is into more than just drip, a real nice community, smart people, interactive people from all over the globe, I'm gonna leave the links in the description. DeFi Ascension is the way to go. You don't have to be a part of any team to join us. It's an open Telegram. Just come, hang out with us, chit chat, and if you feel like you want to be part of us, just go ahead, ask your questions, and we're gonna welcome you. We have so many cool incentives, so many cool giveaways, so I just wanted to say that. And we're always active. So I really wish that I brought you some clarity as to where drip stands today and where I could see it stand tomorrow. Now that's it from me today. I really hope, like I said, you got something out of this video, you enjoyed it, and you found it useful eventually. Be very careful in these dark and bloody times. Don't let anyone affect your decision into anything. Just don't get caught up into the panic and the FUD that the bears are out there releasing. If you go on Twitter, you can easily get scared because people throw stuff out of nowhere without any proof, and they just want to cause panic. This is how it is. This is how the world is. So there's no shortage of resources. Go do your research. Keep on digging. And hopefully we're going to see you on the other side here. And as always, take care of your finances and trade responsibly. This was Roy, R38 Crypto. Thanks for watching.